All right, hello and welcome. Now, this is one about Pornhub Insights. I know what you're thinking. What is that? Why is that relevant? And why are you talking about Pornhub Insights? Well, it's actually quite relevant, and we do this review every single year. Now, why is this relevant and what does this actually tell you? Well, it's going to tell you the top searches, the top categories, top countries, age groups, and shit about video games within the industry that we are in. So it is extremely important as it is, the leading site that people go to watch this type of content. So with searches, you can obviously see what people are searching for, understand what customers want to see while they're, doing it. Top categories. Now, this is obviously going to tell you what people watch the most in terms of in categorization, but also you can, technically call this a niche. You can base your model's niche off of top categories. Top countries, who should you be targeting? What's their language like? What's their culture like? And why is this relevant as well? Age groups, you can understand, what kind of situation they're in their life. Obviously, everyone's different, right? But you can understand whether they're likely to be still in education, whether they're likely to be retired, whether they have a wife. You can kind of figure these things out just based on approximate age. And of course, the younger people are now, the more accepting they are to buying this type of content. So it's kind of extremely relevant to us to know this kind of stuff. Video games, obviously, nerds watch video games and nerds buy this type of content. So that's relevant there, and also it's just quite funny, to be honest. I'll show you that in a minute, but it's quite amusing to me. So again, Pornhub is the biggest porn website in the world. They're going to collect the most data. They're going to have the most accurate information, especially to the Western world. So what you have in other countries, I've done extensive research on this. This isn't from like personal experience or anything like that, but say for example, Brazil, porn is massive in Brazil, but Pornhub not so much. They more are into websites like X videos, X hamster, I think it's called, things like that. Whereas the Western world, UK, US, Australia, France, all these types of countries are more into Pornhub. That's more like the Western world, and they're obviously the ones that are going to be spending the most money. So extremely relevant to us. We can obviously adjust our strategies based on the information within these insights. So it's pretty much it's a 2024 year in review. So it's set up like a fucking Spotify Wrapped for absolute nerds, right? I don't know who is watching this back and thinking, yeah, fucking hell, I'm part of this category here. But this does exist, and it's extremely useful for our research. And yeah, I don't know what nerds are actually, tuning into what porn's the most popular, but apparently it's quite a thing. So it looks like this. I can't link this obviously in the description, but you can literally just type it in. Just type in Pornhub Insights, it will come up. I'm not going to link it to you, but it looks like this, and essentially it's just a set of data. So this is kind of irrelevant stuff. It's just more, yeah, like Spotify Wrapped kind of gimmicks. That's what's at the top. But then you have very interesting stuff here, like most search terms. For obvious reasons, we're going to cover this in a minute, but it tells you what people are actually searching for the most, which porn stars are most popular. Now this can tell you a bit about appearance wise, so what do you want your AI model to look like? You can kind of base this off of these statistics here. Amateur models, blah, blah, blah. Search for terms in the US, again, extremely important. And actually we'll tell you a map of what is most popular. So some people down here are into fat chicks, clearly. Again, down here, again here, so bit of a theme. I mean, maybe that is a category you could go into with AI models. I haven't looked into it personally myself, but fat chicks. Top 20 countries by traffic. Of course, this is extremely relevant, and I'm going to cover this in a second. Time per visit, you can, I mean, that's not too important in all honesty, but yeah, it's basically a set of data which you can go through and you can analyze for your own purposes. But since I have been through this, since I have done my own little analysis on it, I can just share that with you right away to maybe save you some time. And then if you are, going on finding your own information, feel free to comment it down below. It might help me out. It might help others out as well. So if you have any further analysis or just something funny, because I found quite a lot of funny shit on there. But yeah, top takeaways for us. So as you can see, hentai is the top searched term for 2024. It's not even really close between hentai and MILF. Like, they have a big lead in terms of the top search, and this is the same for the US as well. In fact, I think the gap is even greater. So hentai is even, more searched in the US than other categories. But yeah, the most searched term is hentai by far. Now, hentai is not real; it's basically cartoon, right? So people are not only just okay with the fact that this stuff is fake and the content that they're consuming is fake, but they're actually actively searching for it. Huge. This was the same last year. I believe it's been the same for the past 4 years. Mental. AI models are obviously not real. Sorry to break it to you, Steve, but AI models are not real. And this is going to prove the acceptance when it comes to AI models. As well, most viewed categories. So these things like MILF, the Japanese, trans, Asian, big tits. If I'm going to start an AI model right now and I just looked at these insights, I'm literally going to use these exact terms here to define how I design my model. Right, it's either going to be a MILF, it's going to be a Japanese, trans. Trans is very interesting, actually. Asian, big tits. It's going to be within those categories because that is clearly what people are viewing the most in terms of their kind of preferences when it comes to models. Amateur tells us a lot as well. What Amateur tells you is these standard AI pictures are no longer kind of accepted. I mean, they are accepted. People still buy it, don't get me wrong. But what I mean by that is most AI pictures are going to be face on, like I am on the webcam here. They're going to be center of the image. They're going to be looking straight at the camera. They're going to be doing some blank face. And they all look the same, is what I'm trying to say. So if you are kind of involved in the AI world, you can instantly tell if an image is AI because of the position they're standing in, because of the fact they're looking at the camera, because of their facial expression. So Amateur tells us a lot because it means that people like realness. Now, we can do this with AI models. It is definitely 100% possible. You just need to kind of refine your AI design skills. So there's a lot of things that you could refine when it comes to that, but these big kind of photo studio type images, very high quality, center of frame, they look like they've been taken by a professional photographer. You might be thinking, wow, that's a great image, but it's not a great image to sell because people, they really do fall for this amateur kind of taken on a phone. In fact, one of the stats, which I didn't go through on here, is the fact that most people now like vertical content. So like it's been taken on a phone because it's very amateur. It's very real. It's like relatable. So Amateur tells us a lot here. And obviously, these can all be viable niches for your model. They have proven high viewership on Pornhub. So yeah, you can take from that what you will. Now, top 20 countries by traffic. US is, I mean, it's really not close. You could probably triple France and still be behind US here. So US, English speaking, is very much a no-brainer when it comes to targeting. This tells you exactly who to target when you're marketing. It tells you what SIM cards to buy. If you're marketing on TikTok, for example, you're going to buy a US SIM to obviously target the US. And it tells us about the US culture. Very sexually orientated, very open to buying this kind of content. And also they have the most money, per capita, I believe. I mean, that may be a little bit off, but yeah, in terms of like the richest country in the world, how much wealth is spread around, you could be pretty safe that everyone has money to buy. Now, how old is your target audience? So here we can see that 18 to 24, unfortunately, for our youth, is the most prevalent here. Now, they are a huge market, but you got to consider, are they spending? Are they going to buy AI content? Because realistically, if you put a load of AI images in front of an 18-year-old versus put a load of AI images in front of a 60-year-old, the 60-year-old has no chance of realizing that they are AI. They could be the shittest AI images, whereas the 18-year-old who put the best quality AI, they might notice. There's quite a high chance actually that they would notice that that girl is AI. So you got to kind of factor that in as well. So is 18 to 24, just because they are the largest market, the best to target? Probably not, in fact. Also, what is your typical target audience doing on a daily? 18 to 24-year-olds, they may be in education still. They probably are busy at work. You would hope, although you know the youth today probably not. They're probably fucking playing Xbox. But you know, 35 to 44-year-old, they're not retired, but they're kind of relaxed. If they're single, they probably don't have kids. You know, it's kind of, you can predict these things, and you can predict that 18 to 24 may not be the best to specifically target, but it also tells you how to target them, because obviously if you were to target 18 to 24-year-olds, meme pages, social media websites, all these kind of things are going to be great. Whereas if you're targeting older people, probably going to use, you know, Facebook, news articles, that kind of thing to market. So tells you a lot, the age. Now these are more funny things. I more just imagined with this screenshot here, like you can see how many people are literally watching this stuff on their console. So they're not even, when they're like playing Minecraft or whatever, they're not even bothering to come off of the console. They're just going onto the Internet Explorer on the Xbox, typing in Pornhub and going to watch it, and then probably returning back to their shitty games. This is like one of the reasons why I hate nerds, and this is why you need to understand that this was so important for Pornhub's knowledge that they included it in these insights. You know, they didn't include many things like this, but the fact that game consoles are a factor means that we have a very prevalent target audience in video gamers. Most search movies and characters, again, these people do not exist. These categories do not exist. Star Wars is not real, I'm sorry to say. But yeah, people are searching for these. It's worrying. It's weird, but there you go. Video games, Fortnite's not even like a realistic one. Like if people were typing in FIFA, and you know you've got like a realistic game, you may have a bit of understanding because they look real. But Fortnite's like extremely cartoon. So again, Pokemon. I mean, I've never actually watched or played Pokemon, but I can assume that they're, you know, really shitty cartoon. They're not realistic, are they? And then Minecraft. People typing in Minecraft, so people really do not care where they get this from. They don't care if it's real. In fact, they clearly prefer if it's not, which is very strange. And then most search video game characters, you can research these. You can kind of Sonic. The fuck, I didn't even see that. Weird. Mario. Strange. You can obviously design your model in a way that they have a lot of these models, or they take some characteristics of these models because people are clearly into them. Now, how do we know about things like this? Because you probably wouldn't think to go and research this yourself. Well, one, a huge community. We've had a community for years. It's huge. You know, we have well over 1,000 people in our community now, and this is exactly, you know, the type of thing that is discussed. Market research, absolutely huge. We also have years of experience, so we've been researching this kind of thing for years. We have a load of friends in the industry. We have conducted market research in the extreme. So when we come across this a couple of years ago, it was extremely relevant to us, and we were able to actually tailor our strategy to these insights here. Now, how will you keep up? Because these are all things that you may not have, but you may be looking to have, because clearly we know something that you don't, right? Well, the $47 AI model course. This includes a community, most importantly. There's a community of nearly 1,000 people in the AI model course alone, and you're going to discuss things. You're going to network, you're going to make friends, you're going to be able to do certain promotions and shout outs and things to help each other out. Having a community is huge, and having a network is huge. Network equals net worth, right? But also we're going to teach you from ground zero how to make AI models, how to then market them on social media, and how to build them a fan base, and then how to monetize them on Fanvue, which is going to be obviously super important to making money. If you're starting from zero, sure, you can watch everything on the channel. It's all free. I give you shit tons of value on this channel, so go check that out as well. But what's going to be super important is having a chronological course to follow in order to get your information, and then you can follow it step by step. You know, there's no point dilly-dallying around trying to do this all for free, spending hours and hours of wasted time, where if you have $47 in your back pocket and you're going to spend it on fucking kebabs anyway, you might as well do that. So yeah, that's going to be in the description. I'll leave that there, and hope you enjoyed. Go do your own research and let me know if you find anything very, very interesting. Cheers.